Universal Studios Hollywood is introducing the California Neighbor Pass. For the neighborly price of just $119 online, you get over 200 days in the park. So swing by and share some laughs with your neighbors, like the Minions. Or Homer Simpson.
Go nuts.
Even go on an adventure with Harry Potter.
Stay close and follow me.
Visit UniversalStudiosHollywood.com to get over 200 days of thrills, laughter, and wonder with the new California Neighbor Pass for $119 online. Pass valid for 9 months from selected first visit date. Blackout dates and restrictions apply.
Blog Talk Radio.
It's here.
Hello?
Have you checked the children?
They're all hot, though.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Gingy.
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen, I am pain.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face. The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
Have you checked the children?
Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
I think he's in trouble.
Julie, this guy, if he can't take a joke, he stinks.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
Look, just a flesh wound.
Hey, Flesh Wound Radio freaks. Welcome to a brand new episode of Horror Society Presents Flesh Wound Radio. I am Daniel Schein, joined as always by Todd Loya. Todd, how goes the day?
All goes well so far. No tickets this week. Nothing major. Just a good day, I guess we'll go with. We'll go with that this week.
Well, that's good. Weather's getting nicer here, although strangely enough, we're supposed to get a random snow tonight. So yeah, kind of eagerly anticipating constant warmer weather, but we're getting there. I can't complain too much. We're doing okay.
It's been uncomfortably warm over here.
It's like I said, though, there does come that point where you do start bitching about the heat. So, you can't usually have it both ways. But being in the process of moving, I have found most of the cooler places are warm, generally speaking. Most of the realistic places tend to be warm. So, I don't know. Although Kansas City, Missouri is a recent one that popped up. So I don't know a whole lot about Kansas City, Missouri. It seems like a surprisingly big city. I just hear Kansas and I think Kansas, the state. And I didn't realize, ironically enough, that there's a Kansas City, Missouri that's actually pretty big. So I don't know too much, though. I don't think the weather will be any better there. But lots of different places popping up that we're looking into.
Only thing I know about Kansas City, Missouri is that's where the rapper Tech Nine is from. So. Tech
Nine, okay.
Yes.
I'm sure I'll be hanging with them if I go down there.
There you go.
I don't know that I know anybody in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm sure we probably have some listeners from Kansas City, Missouri. If you're from there and know anything about it, hey, hit us up. Seems pretty cool. There's an Alamo Draft House there. And, it's pretty cool. I only know St. Louis. I don't even know much about Missouri.
But is there fries?
There is not, although it would put me closer to a Fry's than I am currently. There is, I believe, a Hastings. And obviously I at least know this because that's the first thing that I looked up. There is, I think, a Hastings within half an hour or so. So, it is technically Midwest, so I think they go right about up to that point. So, yeah, I measure it all by my video stores. The rest, I don't give it. But there is an Alamo, so that's nice. That's one thing I was going to really miss having moved is Alamo, because it's just so cool to see movies there, and it does kind of spoil you to be able to get great food. If you have the pleasure of being near an Alamo and haven't gone yet, I highly recommend you check it out. Great screenings, film fests, just all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, looking into a bunch of different places. Kansas City would probably be temporary, because either Florida or Arizona, I think, is going to be the final destination. But if my brother goes to Kansas City, we're probably going to maybe follow him there, stay for a couple of years, then hit the final destination. So we will see. I might be. I don't know what the time zone is in Kansas City. I don't know if I'll be closer to you or not at that point. Probably. I don't know. Midwest. I'll have to look into that. We might be more aligned, because for Todd it's still very early in the day. For me, it's getting later in the evening.
This is true. I don't know. All I know is, fair warning, Arizona has a kooky time way, because they don't have daylight savings.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yes. So I think right now, because that's where my in-laws live. So there's one other state that doesn't do it also, but I know, even though we're right next to them, half the year they're an hour ahead or an hour behind. I can't remember which way it goes.
Oh, okay.
So
you said Kansas City, Missouri doesn't have daylight savings?
No, that's Arizona. It does not have.
Oh, okay. All right, I was going to say.
There is one other state, so don't quote me. I don't know which one it is. I just know Arizona is one of the two.
Okay, I don't know. I guess there's really not a reason for it. I've heard a lot of people complaining about it lately, but I don't know. An hour can fuck with some people, though. It can really throw off their schedule. So I'm up at like 4 a.m., so I can't complain. Yeah. I keep a weird schedule, but anyways, to be honest, a very sparse news day. There really is not a whole lot, but we do have a couple things that we wanted to mention for you guys. A follower of the show and a model/actress who I've actually worked with before, Malice the Macabre. Apparently, and I'm just reading from her storefront, do you like cute, cuddly, morbid things? How about a one-of-a-kind, hand-stitched, Franken-stitched plushie? Then maybe you'd like your very own ragamuffin by artist model Malice the Macabre. She runs a shop called Beautiful Imperfections, where everything is one-of-a-kind, from dresses to jewelry, paintings to polymer clay. She's always creating. You can contact her about having your own little ragamuffin made on her Facebook fan page at facebook.com/creationsofmalice, where you will also find a link to her store. I've seen her work before. You can get some really cool handmade stuff if there's something from a TV show, movie. If you're into the steampunk thing, she does great work. She's also occasionally on some different podcasts, and I'm sure we'll have her on here at some point. So facebook.com/creationsofmalice. Lots of really cool stuff if you want to pick that up. And another thing, I'm not going to get into it too much because apparently it is something that's in the works right now. But if you want to go on our Facebook page, Sasha, the Princess of Darkness, a fellow horror podcaster, is kind of in the middle of a pretty cruel legal battle here. I won't get into it too much on the show because I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say and not say, but definitely go to our Facebook page. She was discriminated against in a pretty harsh way. It's a Maryland bar situation, and they definitely violated the law. I know the horror community, we're all different in our own ways, and have can probably not relate necessarily to this particular story, obviously, but we can all relate to somebody just being a redneck asshole and, you know, saying something. Whether you're goth, whether you're whatever you are. You know, in my case, just probably wearing a Fulci Lives T-shirt, you know, into a church bake sale or something that my mom dragged me to. You know, we all have these stories, and definitely check it out. She's raising funds.
That is. I don't think I've ever told you, but I will have to tell you off air when me and my wife were discriminated against at a Michael Bolton concert.
Really?
Yes.
You fear the wrath of Bolton's attorneys if you speak live on the air.
No. We got hooked up to front row center seats, and the rich old white lady next to us was not happy, and she did not like the way, you know, myself or my wife were dressed. very
wow.
Very dark, I guess is and she was not having it.
It's like I tell everybody, I mean, people are who they are, you know, just mind your own business. And again, I'm not sure how much I'm really supposed to talk about this, so I don't want to reveal.
Right, mine's a little bit more lighthearted, you know, than the other situation. But
yeah, and that's why I'm just leaving it up to you to read it. It's definitely one of those cases where it's just, oftentimes it is like old magpies that tend to be the issue, and it's just like nobody's doing anything to them, but they have to, you know, they just have to fuck with you. Usually through somebody else. They're often not brave enough to do it themselves, but yes, figured I'd throw those out there, and it's always a good thing for the horror community to come together when somebody's being discriminated against, and I've seen it happen before. I will say that you hear a lot of stereotypes about horror fans, and you know, a lot of negative stuff, but there's a lot of genuinely kind human beings in the horror community out there. You know, and it's not all people, you know, that dress in black. I know wealthy attorneys that are huge horror fans. I mean, you know, they come in all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, what have you. So yeah, it's definitely something if you can help support. I think it's a worthy cause. So yes, on to the news. Again, there really isn't very much. Apparently, porn star legend Ginger Lynn Allen has just been cast in Rob Zombie's next film, 31. Apparently, Rob Zombie announced this on his Facebook page today, and she is going to be playing Cherry Bomb, who is Cherry. The character is a very special friend of Doomhead, the main killer, I believe, in the film. And Lynn will be joining Richard Brake, who's playing Doomhead, Malcolm McDowell, who will be playing Father Murder, the owner of Murder World, Judy Geeson, who's going to be playing Sister Dragon, David Uri as Schizo Head, Daniel Roebuck as Pastor Victor, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs as Panda Thomas, who is the manager of a traveling roadshow known as the Venus Lux Happy Time Fun Show. E.G. Daly will be playing Sex Head. I'm sure she'll be our favorite in this one. Torsten Borges is playing Death Head, and of course Sherry Moon Zombie's in there. Lou Temple and several others. It seems like you're getting some of the Rob Zombie regulars, but he is branching out a little bit. There's a few. I really shouldn't even say branching out, but it's like Phil Mosley or Sid Haig are not in like featured roles as of yet, so maybe giving, you know, some of his more cameo-oriented actors a chance to shine in bigger roles. And for people that haven't been following it, 31 follows 5 carnival workers who get kidnapped the night before Halloween and held hostage in a large secret compound known as Murder World, once there, they have 12 hours to survive a terrifying game called 31, in which the heads, a murderous group of clowns, are released to hunt them down and kill them. So there you go. I'm pretty excited about this movie. I've met Ginger Lynn, and she is a really cool lady. In fact, it was really funny. The last time I saw her, she was right next to Danny Glover, and blew my mind. She had a big line, and Danny Glover really did not. I thought that was pretty funny because Danny Glover, he's done a lot recently in the last year or so, but at that point he really wasn't somebody that had done 20,000 conventions. So
right.
I don't know if he was pissed or not. I couldn't tell, but I was like, wow. I think I even still have a picture on my phone somewhere of Danny Glover playing on his phone in this huge-ass Ginger Lynn line.
God, it's so easy, but I'm still going to do it. Was he grumbling I'm too old for this shit?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, was he grumbling I'm too old for this shit?
You never get too old for that shit, but I'm sure maybe he was. I don't know. He was a really quiet guy when I met him, really friendly, but he didn't talk much. He didn't really even with other people, I didn't see him elaborating or answering all these crazy questions. He did take a picture with this guy in full-on Predator garb, mask and everything that he just called over. The guy wasn't even in line, and that was a pretty amusing moment. That I do believe I have the photo on my Facebook somewhere with him and that guy.
I want to say that sounds very familiar. I do think you posted some stuff from that. Yeah,
it was from. I think that was Chiller actually. So that's several conventions ago, but at least a couple of years. But yeah, that was a pretty cool moment. So who knows? Danny Glover's been making the B movie rounds lately. I've seen him pop up in quite a few much smaller movies. But
his old partner had to go nuts. Otherwise, no more. We could be having Lethal Weapon 6 at this point.
Do you think Mel Gibson will ever become a direct-to-DVD guy? I mean, I know Get the Gringo went direct-to-DVD, but it really didn't feel like a direct-to-DVD movie. You think we're going to see, Mel Gibson shooting crap in Eastern Europe? I don't know.
I don't know if he... That's an interesting one. I don't know. I mean, anything can happen, of course. But he seemed to, just pop up here and there. Was the last thing he did Machete 2?
Yeah, he did Machete Kills, Expendables 3.
Thank you. That's probably the most recent.
I strongly I don't know. It's tough to make a comeback. I mean, when you're in Hollywood and you're going on a rant about Jews and black people, I mean, it's pretty tough to come back from that. And he probably didn't endear himself too well with Passion of the Christ. You do Passion of the Christ, everyone complains about it, and then you're asking a police officer if she's a Jew. It was kind of like a double whammy for him.
So I wonder if he kept his distance from Terry Crews and Wesley Snipes on Expendables.
He may have been. I don't know. He was looking pretty jacked in that movie, but I think Terry Crews for sure would throw him a beating. I don't know how long Wesley Snipes has been in prison, but I'm sure he's aware of it. So it's interesting. But yes. Wow. Other news bits. Sharknado 3 is now going to be called Sharknado 3 Oh Hell No. It's coming, let's see. I know I have a date. July 22nd will be that premiere, right?
I was going to say April 30th. I'm way off, yes.
Hey, I remember that last one. I mean, Facebook, I was even looking at my horror friends, and on Facebook, it's like everybody was watching Sharknado 2. Like, everybody's page was lighting up, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is big. I mean, I knew the first was big, but then the second one comes, and I'm like, my God, this is huge.
I remember because I had to watch it after. I was at the fair with my wife seeing a concert. I can't remember who it was. It was definitely for her, not me. And I just had to turn my phone off because I made one comment on the page, when you were making the Sharknado 2 comments.
Yeah, I remember,
my phone never stopped going off. The damn near killed my battery. I was like, okay, this is a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it really was. Like I said, you expect somebody like me to be watching it, but I mean, it was just everybody. I am keeping my fingers crossed that we get to see Jericho hit a code breaker on one of the sharks. We will see. They really didn't do anything with Kurt Angle the last time. I'm like, God, if he could just hook in a fish lock or a fin lock or something.
I was going with the Angle Slam, kind of reminiscent of that one SummerSlam commercial where Brock Lesnar F5'd the shark.
That is true. That is true. I think Brock Lesnar's, it sounds like he's re-signed or is going to re-sign, but I was going to say maybe Sharknado 4 if things don't go over too well. Although they have to have Paul Heyman do the talking. I don't know, maybe the Sharks come in, at WrestleMania and he just unleashes the beast on them. I don't know, it could be interesting, but I am looking forward to seeing some of the, because this is in D.C., and not that all of our listeners necessarily follow politics, but Ann Coulter is going to be playing the vice president, kind of a right-wing nut. Michelle Bachmann's playing herself. Jerry Springer's in it. There's some pretty interesting.
Isn't Mark Cuban the president?
Yeah, I think he's playing the president. There's a lot of really interesting celebrities. I don't know if they're as big as they were in the last one or not. I haven't looked at the full rundown on the movie, but maybe even a little more interesting. Like I said, it's very odd to have a woman that actually ran for president in the last cycle. Michelle Bachmann, I believe she did. In a Sci-Fi Channel creature feature. So everybody's jumping on board.
I think we need a boy band in there.
Yeah. I know. Trying to think, who else have they announced for it? I remember hearing some names a while back, and now I'm trying to remember.
Shoot, I don't even at this point. And maybe we get Zach Galligan in it.
We need to get somebody like a Schwarzenegger or something. I was kind of thinking, politics. Maybe we'll get like a really big star connected to politics that might pop up. But I know Ian Ziering and Tara Reid have got to be very pleased. David Hasselhoff's the other one I know that's going to be in this one.
How could we forget Mr. Piranha 3 Double D himself?
You think they're going to rip it off and give him another slow march sort of sequence?
He's in his slow motion. He's going to be a lifeguard. That they do the same joke. I can almost guarantee that.
I will pitch it right now and say that we should do a live commentary for Sharknado 3, I should say. I think this is one, although we've never done a live commentary where we haven't even seen the movie, but I actually think it could work for this. If you guys are interested, maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it on a replay. I don't know. It could be fun. Bo Derek's in it. Never know. You might get some cougar nudity out of Bo Derek. Probably not. It's Sci-Fi Channel, but we will see. And I think I think that's about it for news. Nothing else, unless I missed anything, Todd. Do we have any release date news? I know we had a couple things that just went up for pre-order.
No, I don't think so. I know, and because I don't have the date in front of me, I know Dark Sky and the Bonnie's Kids Centerfold Girls double feature. I know we're probably both looking forward to.
That and Cannibal Ferox, which I believe is Cannibal Ferox. Never know how to say that. It's Ferox, right?
Yeah, no, I'm doubting myself. I don't know which is right. I've always said
Ferox. Ferox, but then again, somebody corrected me once. It's like one of those things, is it Bill Moseley or Bill Mazzelli? I've been told, no, you think that's how you say it. And I'm like, but that's how I always said it. So if we're saying your name's wrong, we apologize.
I've always said Moseley.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was too, but then somebody...
I was going to say, I think we had this conversation.
Yeah, we did, and it's like, I've seen the guy in 10,000 movies, and I've always said it that way, but then somebody once told me, no, it's Bill Mazzelli, and it's just like, that's just what everybody thinks it is, and I'm like, but I've never heard that, so I don't know, it's a weird conversation I've had with a few people, but you know who we're talking about. So yeah, that's May 12th. I know that's the date for Cannibal Ferox. It's $40 right now, but it will drop. It'll drop to at least, I think, 30 something. So, yes. But if you want to lock in your pre-orders anyways, feel free to go ahead. I cannot, because I am going to Comic-Con, and my God, with Philly Comic-Con, and in the last week, they just added David Tennant and Billy Piper. First convention that they've been together. And I'm embarrassed to say what that's going to cost me because they're VIP only. So essentially I have to buy admission to the show all over again just to meet those two. But it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm going to have to sell some eBay stuff, but it's worth it. So, yeah, that's all we got in the way of news. And on to the reviews. Our first review, which we actually kind of have a news bit, but we'll read it after because it's kind of connected to the film. Rabid Grannies, the new Blu Ray from Troma. Rabid Grannies is a film from 1988 from director-writer Emmanuel Curvin. And from the back cover, grannies are the greatest. They bake pies, tell stories, and never ask for anything in return. But what happens when Grandma goes ghoul? It's Rabid Grannies, the blood-splattered tale of two little old ladies who open a surprise package from hell. Newly restored in eye-gouging high definition, we will see. This is Troma's classic that will make you never look at Grandma the same way again. Rabid Grannies, These Biddies Bite, which is actually This Biddies Bite, which I think is supposed to be these, and that's probably a good sign of the presentation we're going to get. Okay, first, just the movie alone. I'm going to assume most of you have probably seen Rabid Grannies, but then again, that's not necessarily a sure thing. It's definitely, for me, one of Troma's better films that has come out on the Troma label. It's not my favorite. In fact, there's a few that I do hold in higher regard, but it's certainly one of the better things that they had coming out back in the day. It's a Belgian film, so the dubbing and everything at times I'm sure is way off, and that can be a bit distracting for some people. I mean, the dubbing's actually pretty terrible, but this is a film for me that I always kind of watched as an appetizer before Evil Dead 2. That was sort of my viewing habit back in the day. It was just always one of those films that very similar in style and certainly effects. It was very, very cool, very gory, old school effects. I've never quite considered this film a classic, but it is very fun. And there's, like I said, there are some pretty cool highlights in terms of makeup and some of the kills in here. It's an interesting one if you haven't seen it. As far as getting into the presentation, which is going to be, let's just say, I think our ratings for the movie versus the presentation are going to be very different, and the edition sucks. I mean, they did a. Ooh, Todd, I'll let you take it from there. But it was ugly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I know there's supposed to be two versions on the Blu-ray disc itself, the producer's cut and well, I'm assuming what should be the standard Troma cut, but it doesn't really say. And basically, either version you play, it seems like it's the same version because they both run about an hour and 8 minutes. And well, technically the other one, I want to say the runtime was 109 minutes and some change. There's about a minute of black screen in between the Troma logo and when the movie actually starts playing. So
yeah,
I think that accounts for the difference in that runtime. And essentially, It looks like they just took, or they were sent, the 25th anniversary producer's cut that came out overseas a couple of years back. That's, chopped to shit with a bunch of the dialogue removed and just a bunch of hard fades and kind of let's just run through what happens and, cut out all the dialogue.
Yeah.
So that I mean, other than the quality, you have to deal with that too. Yeah, there's no way of saying it's not an upconvert of the standard definition. While it probably looks better than the DVD, it doesn't look anywhere near like a Blu-ray should.
I've got to say barely at best, though. I mean, I didn't directly compare the DVD, but, I mean, this kind of almost looked like you were watching it through those, like, yellow glasses at times.
Yeah. It definitely looked like they added a hue to it also. This is my first time actually seeing the producer's cut version of the film, because I have the Astro disc from Germany that has 3 different cuts, none of which are this cut. Because ideally, that's the cut I think most people wanted to see. Was, I believe they call it the ultimate final cut, which has everything in it, everything that was shot all in there. Which I would have loved to be the other version on this disc in good quality. Yeah. It's quality-wise, I'd say it's not even up to a DVD quality, like a decent quality DVD. And honestly, I think the Troma disc included, the Troma DVD included in this 2-disc set, actually kind of looks better. Because one of the other problems with this transfer is that the producer's cut had like burn-in hard subs. So the whole thing gets cropped to 235 and you're losing more picture information than you could. This whole thing is just such a mess. It is not recommended. I can say that. I mean, while I like the film and I want to continue to support Troma, I can't recommend this disc to anyone. I know it's funny because I did kind of hear rumblings and I forewarned you, and you, just like myself, we didn't cancel our releases because when are we going to get it?
But we're more hardcore than your average fan, because the truth is, if you have the DVD, the only reason to get this Blu-ray is for the novelty of having it on Blu-ray. They're just really, there isn't any other possible reason, and it's such a flawed release that I've got to think, I don't know, 88 Films, somebody is gonna put it out again at some point. It was a big disappointment. I mean, I was aware that there were some problems with this going in, but I was kind of like, I'm a pretty big fan of the movie, which begs the question for you, and you're a huge Troma fan. I love Troma, but I was always more of a Full Moon guy. I didn't just go out and worship anything that Troma put out or automatically pick it up just because it was Troma. Where does this rank for you in terms of their releases? For me, I don't know. There's more than a few things that I think I'd rate a little bit higher.
Yeah, see, I've always done it two ways. There's the Lloyd Kaufman directed Troma stuff, and then the pickup stuff, the stuff they've picked up that is not in-house stuff. And I don't really intertwine the two. But for me, this would be at the top of the heap of the stuff they picked up. I mean, there's some other good stuff too that they've picked up that wasn't in-house. I definitely think this tops, maybe not the very top, but it's definitely at the top of their list of their, acquired stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was, if I recall the story, because I remember, and it's actually a really funny DVD because, and I believe it was the makers of Rabid Grannies, but he put out a film, I think it was called Parts of the Family, if I recall correctly, where it was also from the makers of Rabid Grannies. And didn't he, if I recall the story, and if I'm off at all, I do apologize, but wasn't that the one where I'm trying to think now, though. I want to make sure I'm getting the right film. If it wasn't Parts of the Family, I apologize, but wasn't it from the makers of Rabid Grannies, and he kind of blindly funded it or something, and it turned out to be completely unwatchable?
Yeah, that's pretty much the way that story goes. I mean, it wasn't taking the crapper bad, I guess, but I know they recut it, and because there's two versions of the movie on the disc for Parts of the Family: the original theatrical version that the director did, and then the Troma salvage, basically, where they recut and re-edited and did all that stuff. Yeah, because Parts of the Family seemed like it was taking forever to come out, and then it came out that it was.
We saw why.
Yeah.
I will say it's worth it, though. The Troma version's actually pretty funny. There's a running gag where he just keeps backhanding this girl. that was particularly funny, but I did remember that. And I don't know. Watching Rabid Grannies again, I mean, the movie is still, I don't know, the movie's still probably a 4-star for me out of 5, but I don't know, I didn't love it as much as I did, and I don't know if that's just because I was pissed off at the presentation or what. I
was going to ask you, what did you think about the new cut of the film, though? Because I want to say that runs like 20 minutes shorter than you're used to.
Yeah, and that's also probably part of it, because I could tell things were missing, and again, I didn't do a comparison to the two versions, and that's why I'm sticking, because truthfully, I don't know, this cut, I would probably knock it down a little bit, but the Rabid Grannies that I knew and loved, I haven't revisited it in about 3 or 4 years, but that's definitely a 4-star film for me.
Have you ever seen the Ultimate Final Cut?
I don't believe so.
We'll have to rectify that, because I think you'll like that one. It's got all the gore, all the dialogue stuff that was cut. That's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't think I ever actually did.
I think that's the best way to view it, and it actually looks a bit better.
Yeah, I'm very concerned for some future Troma Blu Ray releases after this, because like I said, this wasn't Parts of the Family that they were putting out on Blu Ray. This was a big one from their catalog, so hopefully some of the upcoming releases fare better.
Well, I guess we'll just jump into this real quick. Troma did release a statement or an alert.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just read this so we kind of know. I was kind of curious to see if they were going to just keep quiet or if they were actually going to comment. So I'm sure you'll have a few comments on this too, Dan. So I'm just going to read it. Greetings from Tromaville. Regarding the Rabid Grannies Blu Ray DVD release, there have been problems with... Wait, okay. This sounds like... I'm reading it. The verbiage was throwing me off. There have been problems with the pre-print material that were originally supplied to Troma. This film is historic in that it was the first traumatic horror film from Belgium. And because Rabid Grannies is one of the most beloved titles, we wanted a Blu-ray release. We also wanted to present as much of the filmmaker's vision as possible, including all elements of gore and violence previously removed. The Troma team did our best to bring you the original... The original iteration of the producer and director. Removing the padding... Jeez, this reads kind of funny. Removing padding scenes that were originally included to meet minimum runtimes set by theaters. Please see DVD included combo pack for all the scenes absent from the Blu-ray. Some of you were under the impression that this release would include an HD theatrical cut. But we believe this Blu-ray DVD release of Rabid Grannies is the best version of this 1988 classic available. Regarding the quality, we know it is imperfect, but we did the best we could with the pre-print materials available to us. It came down to a choice of releasing a slightly imperfect combo or releasing nothing at all. You fans had indicated a demand for a Rabid Grannies Blu-ray, indicated, and while we understand a small number of you have been critical, we hope you understand that our intentions were always the best. That said, we are concerned some of you are unhappy with the final product. We think the combo has great merit as it is. In fact, we challenge those of you who have not bought a copy to purchase one and judge them for yourself. But as a thank you for your continued support, we are offering those who purchased the Rabid Grannies combo an opportunity to download for free 2 films from the Troma Deluxe Platinum Vimeo collection. Any dissatisfied customer with the Blu-ray release should send an email for a special download of the free titles. We sincerely thank our wonderful Troma fans 41 years of unwavering loyalty and support. Stay toxic and keep disrupting media. Lloyd Kaufman, and I believe that's Michael Hurst's signature also. So there you go. The one thing that's funny, it's like they say in one part, I don't know who wrote this. I'm guessing an intern. One part is, but as a thank you for your continued support, you get the 2 free, titles. But then it's like any customer dissatisfied with Rabid Grannies gets the free. I'm like, well, are you thanking us, or do we have to complain to get these titles? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're going to give me 2 free as a thank you. I'm like, okay, I'm all in. But otherwise, it's like, no, but we're giving them to those who are dissatisfied. It's like I don't even want to contact. I mean, not that it matters. I own 99.9% of the Troma catalog.
I don't see anybody singing the praises of this release. Yeah.
And I have to call bullshit on the statement that they weren't about the HD theatrical or traumatic version, whatever, not being intended to be included. Because why is there 2 cuts to film on the menu? Why does a 22 gigabyte disc only have 11 gigabytes of information on it?
Yeah.
All those things point to there should have been the theatrical. Because honestly, if they would have put a decent quality, theatrical on the disc of the standard Troma, even though it's cut, I don't think anyone would have complained.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it may not be the dream release, but I think people would have accepted it and been, you know, just fine. But I mean, like you said, when it's pretty obvious that this could have been more than what they gave us, that's pretty tough. I would be really curious to see if anybody at this point has emailed them and gotten the freebies or not yet. You know, that's not a big thing for me for these downloads, but I would be curious to see if people are actually getting it. You know, it is one of those ones. I mean, I guarantee you, and you know, even you being an even bigger fan than I am, you know, I don't see too many people coming to their aid over this one. It's just a really weak release. And to be honest, if I were Lloyd Kaufman and saw that this is what I had coming off of some stronger Blu-ray releases, I probably would have waited. I really probably maybe wouldn't have made this a priority straight away, because it does make you think twice about pre-ordering, you know, another Troma Blu-ray.
I know. I honestly kind of wish they would have done this in Toxic Avenger 2 day and date, just because they'd be like, okay, well, one was botched, one was perfect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it's going to be the same transfer 88 films used. You know, which is basically from what everything I heard are the Vinegar Syndrome scans, and at least you can be, well, you know, look at how great Toxic Avenger 2 looks. We're sorry about Rabid Grannies. It was an anomaly. But now, instead, even though knowing that, you know, the Toxic Avenger 2 is going to look great, people are going to be standoffish because they might screw it up somehow. And then they have three sitting in the... And I was going to say they have three sitting in the chamber, which I think is going to be a problematic release too, because it isn't the uncut version, because the two little bits of stuff that make up the uncut version is only available on not necessarily a videotape, but a tape, you know, probably the quarter-inch master. It's not available on film anymore, so it's the theatrical cut. I mean, the two scenes don't make up for a lot, but so people are going to complain when that hits stateside. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, I think you do better just to say, you know what, we fucked up. Some people are still going to buy it anyways. I don't really think that they'd be in any worse a position if they just said, yeah, we know this one wasn't our finest work, and just admitting it and, you know, offering a couple free downloads, which I doubt costs them very much, and just leaving it that. Wait and see. Our Toxic Avenger 2 or our Class of Nukem High 2 discs are going to blow this out of the water.
And I am kind of concerned on Class of Nukem High because there's no 88 Films version to reference. I don't know what it's going to look like.
Well, and I'll be honest with you. See, I have not pre-ordered that one yet. That's one where I am going to wait and see.
I've got it. I can't.
Well, it is $25 right now too, so it is a bit high unless that one finally dropped.
Yeah, that is true. I know, you know, Troma gets shit. They've had shit releases over the years. Rabid Grannies has always been problematic. I know I was telling you off air, or it was going to pain me to have to, you know, bash this release. I don't like saying, you know, ill things of Troma. It is, you know, one of my lifelong favorite companies, along with, you know, Full Moon's another. And I've always stood by the fact, okay, there's the biggest difference between, you know, Charles Band and Full Moon and Troma, or Lloyd Kaufman and Troma. They're both carnies. There's no argument about that. Except Lloyd's the kind of carny that is, you know, the ringmaster, you know, he's going to do whatever, spin it, but he's not going to, like, you know what you're getting. Whereas You got Charles Band, who's kind of like the shady carny who's like spitting you a yarn. We found these boxes of Wizard Queso in the magic basement. These recalled Puppet Master DVD sets. We found another box. And another box. And another box. Oh no, these are Australian imports, even though they're NTSC and there's no I can't even remember the little kangaroo logo on the Paramount era titles when they didn't have the rights.
Kangaroo films, I do remember.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always been the difference. I mean, for the two. That's one of the reasons I'll defend Troma, because you know you're dealing with a carny, but you know which kind of carny. It's not the... And I love Full Moon too, so
yeah.
I mean, and that's why I overlook, Charlie finding boxes of whatever and all that shit, because it makes me laugh. But I mean, then people are all, super offended by, well, he's lying to the fans. When you're dealing with a carny, you're going to get lied to. Yeah. And I kind of wish Troma would have just said, yeah, we fucked up, like you said, and we're done.
I think that's a life thing for a lot of people. When you do fuck up, it's better to just say you fucked up rather than just digging a deeper grave. It's like everybody does it. They always had the but. I really feel there's finality to it when you do without any excuses. Say, hey, I fucked up, and just leave it at that. It is funny, though, because Full Moon, I'm the same way. Not as recent. I mean, because there have been some recent Full Moon titles I've given some less than stellar reviews for, but back in the day, I worshipped them. I mean, anything they put out, Full Moon and Empire, I should say, from the Empire days as well. I mean, I just loved those. I would watch them over and over and over. And I defended them into the late 90s, even into the early 2000s, where people were saying, the films aren't as good anymore. And I've always said that really wasn't the case. You had some great films from that era, like Sideshow, Hideous, Dead Hate the Living, Blood Dolls, The Creeps, Dr. Moreau's House of Pain. I mean, I thought they had a lot of really solid titles from that era, but I don't know, you do get to that point where it's a little harder to defend stuff like Unlucky Charms. I don't know, which I know you didn't hate, but I don't know. It was tough for me, but I was like, I still love them, but I don't have to love everything they put out. So
yeah, I was easy on Unlucky Charms, but I got distracted by boobs probably. Yeah, nice boobs. You can even buy the boob bust on Full Moon Direct. I don't know if that's sold out yet or if he found any more in the warehouse. It's not like Usumi Max is going anywhere.
Or somebody might look at it and think, these are Robin Sidney's tits. It's so funny. What's up here?
Yeah.
Fans will get that reference, but
yes.
But but back to Rabid Grannies, it's a botched transfer. I mean, it's a 0 in terms of the package. But like I said, the proper version of the movie is still a 4 for me. But can't recommend you pick this one up.
The only way I say grab it, if you don't have the DVD, it has the DVD in it. I want to say the old DVD is long out of print, but I'm not 100% sure. There might still be, copies on Troma and Amazon. I don't know, and I probably should have looked into that. But I mean, if you're buying it for the DVD,
I think you can still get it.
I'm sure. Well, some of the
unless it's just recently in the last year or something.
Yeah, it's weird with what titles are out of print. Some aren't. I did manage to snag a really cheap copy of Crazed, the one with Daisy Duke nude.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I was really excited about that one.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, this was not their finest hour, but
no, not in the least.
But we'll see. I hope, like I said, for the best, because Troma, Full Moon. You know, there's really not a lot of truly independent companies out there anymore. So I always hope for the best for both of them, and and hopefully we'll get the new Toxic Avenger for us to review at some point soon. Soonish, you never know.
I already got all 4 from 88 Films. I couldn't wait. I might have to grab that American Ninja set they're releasing. They are releasing oh shit, I'm never gonna get this right. Anthropophagus on Blu Ray. Yeah. I was gonna cheat and go that route. That's gonna be a web store exclusive for a couple months, so we may have to review that. We do have an 88 Films review tonight. That is true.
We do. And the first Arrow U.S. Blu-ray as well, which
yes.
I guess that's as good of a segue as any. So, yes, our next review is for the 1969 film Mark of the Devil from director Michael Armstrong. And from the back cover, once proclaimed as positively the most horrifying film ever made, Mark of the Devil is a bloody and brutal critique of religious corruption. Horror icon Udo Kier plays a witchfinder's apprentice whose faith in his master, played by the legendary Herbert Lohm, becomes severely tested when they settle in an Austrian village. Presided over by the sadistic albino, a memorably nasty turn from Reggie Nalder, the film presents its morally not so much in shades of gray as shades of black. Written and directed by Michael Armstrong, who would later pen Eskimo Nell, The Black Panther, and The House of Long Shadows, this classic shocker has lost none of its power over the years. So, Mark of the Devil's another one. I want to say we discussed this film ages ago, back in the horror theater radio days, but never really in great detail. This is a very controversial film when you consider when it came out, and it does hold up in many ways. Todd, where do you stand on this one? What do you think?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's one of those that I don't revisit a lot, and it's not anything about it. I'm just not huge into the I guess the witch trials and stuff. While it was super controversial at the time, by the time I finally got around to seeing this one, which was later, I never rented this one as a youth. It was, it almost was kind of like then they done that. But I mean, it's a great, it's a good film. It's just one I don't find myself like I need to revisit. I did find myself enjoying it a lot more this time than the last time I watched it when the Blue Underground disc came out. I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle on this one. I get the appeal. It's just not one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I think I actually enjoy it more. As I said, it's actually funny. Every time I revisit this one, because I saw it ages ago for the first time. I mean, this one's going way, way back. And it's such a controversial film. And it's kind of held up fairly well. I mean, it's still a pretty nasty little flick. And when you imagine, I mean, this was still the 60s. This kind of gore and sadism was, still a little ways away. I mean, the gore in this film, if you've never seen it, is pretty nasty. I mean, we get a tongue ripped out. We get tons of different torture devices, nails into the ass cheeks, and all of this really nasty stuff. I mean, there's rape. There's all sorts of really vile stuff going on in here. But yet, it's such a beautifully filmed movie. I mean, it's the actors, I mean, if you're a film fan in general, I mean, Herbert Lohm, fantastic. Of course, this was not his first film, but Udo Kier's first major film that kind of really launched his career, still a few years before the Andy Warhol stuff. And just watching it again for the first time in a while, this one really does actually hold up for me. I think this is one that I can see some people having some issues, because it's really funny, the marketing campaign with the vomit bags and everything.
Yeah.
I think some people were expecting more, I'm going to get 80s level gore out of this film, and then they see it and it's more of a, European style. And again, I mean, it's still the 60s. So maybe, even though the fact that the gore is quite nasty, what's there, and, very cruel, it maybe doesn't hold up for them. They were expecting something a little bit different based on the classic marketing campaign. I know Udo Kier even was selling reprints of the vomit bags on his website years ago. I know I have one somewhere in storage. Unfortunately, not an original. I can imagine those are probably pretty valuable at this point. But it holds up great for me. I mean, I'm very interested in this period of history. I think there's there's a lot of it right now. I haven't watched Salem yet, but I know that's pretty popular at the moment. And I just think this works great for a horror film. There's actually some sound bites that you'll probably recognize that Rob Zombie lifted for some of his songs in this one. Much like The Curious Dr. Hump, one of my all-time favorites. So another fun little bit that you can spot when you watch this. I think this is a classic. I mean, it's one of those ones. There's nothing really bad I can say about it. It's for me, it really holds up. And movie-wise, I give it a 4.5. If you're into this, it's a must if you're a fan of European horror cinema, as far as I'm concerned. And I think it's held up quite well. Todd, what's your verdict? And then we can get into the addition.
See, it's funny because I don't want to come off like I didn't like it. It's just not one of my go-to flicks. When I watch it, I enjoy it. It's just not in my top 10. And I agree. I do think it's held up extremely well. My opinion on it hasn't changed. Maybe it's just I'm not into the whole witch stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I go more closer to a 4 for myself. I would recommend it to anyone who is interested, and I do agree that that stuff had been super shocking back in the day.
Picturing it in a theater, I mean, at that time, I mean, it's one of those ones you can actually see, somebody fainting during the movie. I mean, because it's pretty ugly stuff.
That's I did not realize he penned Eskimo Nell. I had just watched that this past week also.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a great one for fans of great actors as well. I mean, Reggie Nelder as Albino, that was, I mean, he was a creepy, detestable son of a bitch in this movie. And it was fun revisiting it again. It's been a couple years, I think, since I popped this one in. And, of course, the great Herbert Loam as Lord Cumberland.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely consider this classic horror, and if you're an older horror fan that is trying to get your I don't know, kids or whatever into classic horror, this is kind of a good one maybe to show them. Not your young kids, but it's because you kind of get that same kind of feel, and yet you do have some moments of pretty shocking gore. So there you go. Just be one big bunched up family.
And you can't forget that there's a little bit of, it gets a little rapey in a scene.
It does get a little bit rapey. The rape scene's not particularly graphic, but yes, it does.
It's not. But some people really don't want to see that. So I know we mentioned with horns, which I kind of agree isn't a graphic one there either. I think this one even less so.
Kids, he's just aggressive hugging her. Don't worry about it. You can get out of it. But as far as the packaging, again, I mean, this is a winner. I mean, we all know, that Arrow is a fantastic company, but yet we're just starting to get the U.S. disc. You have a lot ported over, obviously. 2002, I believe, interviews with Udo Kier and the rest of the cast. And Todd, what did you think? This is the first Arrow one, right? I didn't miss one.
Yes.
For the U.S.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that is. And next, I wish I actually got early through Diabolic. Blind Woman's Curse is next, and Day of Anger, which they just got in also on Diabolic DVD. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's funny because I was curious on how they were going to handle the releases, because they do packet like actual physical packaging. We're not even jumping into the contents yet. For those who don't know, British discs have a slightly bigger case. They're a 14 millimeter versus an 11 millimeter spine, and they they did the same for the U.S. releases, which I think kind of makes them stand out because they got the nice clear cases. Although I know for someone like you and me, Dan, that takes up more room because they're a little bit thicker.
Yeah. I don't really care. It doesn't have to be bigger for me. I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm not, subtracting points, but
I was curious how they were going to
for a guy like me.
Yeah, I was just curious how they were going to do it. I guess it's probably easier for them to print them all up at the same.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you mentioned they ported over all the Blue Underground extras. With some of the high-rising production stuff, it can be hit or miss with the Arrow extras. Sometimes they come off really stale. I didn't see that. I didn't find that to be the case this time. Although the actual new extras really had less to just do about the film itself, other than the biggest piece, Mark of the Times, is the feature-length documentary about the new British wave of horror. So it does touch upon Mark of the Devil, in there. But I mean, it is just that whole new, post-Hammer era of filmmaking with the group of young guys who kind of took it to the new level, which I really love that piece. Although I'll be honest, the one that stole the show for me, which wasn't nearly as long, which was another one not directly about the film, and that was Hallmark of the Devil, with Michael Gingold from Fangoria magazine, that talked about Hallmark releasing that, put out Mark of the Devil in the U.S. I found that to be a fascinating piece of that old, sleazy grindhouse era where okay, we're just going to take this, retitle it, and throw it out, and throw it out, and throw it out. So I love that part. Honestly, that was my favorite thing on the disc. But I love hearing about that, era. A little before my time. I mean, I wasn't going to the grindhouses as a youth.
You weren't enjoying some Franco action on 42nd Street, you're saying?
No, I was not, sadly.
No sticky floors, enjoying a screening of Vampiros Lesbos for Todd. No, we enjoyed just sticky carpets in our basement. That's all we had, but we still love the films. So
overall package, I think it's for the first one out the gate, it is pretty solid. I mean, if I really was looking for something to complain about, the actual new content wasn't super film specific, but with all the stuff that was already produced, it's kind of I agree. With all the stuff that was already there, it's a full round out package. So I mean, it's better than not adding any new content. And I really did like those two, pieces. I mean, for people who are, new to the whole, world cinema stuff, I mean, there's a lot of, cool information about a time long gone. I mean,
yeah.
So it's definitely a good little history lesson for the youngsters, and I think that was kind of cool for their first thing out the gate, and it only made sense for it to be something very international, very British, to start off for Arrow UK. I mean, to make that jump to the U.S., something very representative of what their company is. I mean, I'm sure people would have our stateside would have probably rather had Society out the gate first. I think this perfectly represents them as a company. And definitely recommend it. Because as much as the next one, Blind Woman's Curse, is I don't know if that would have had the impact of, say, Mark of the Devil.
No, I think this was a good, very popular title to put out first. And to be honest, I think those two extras really sealed it for me as far as packaging. I mean, I give it a 5 in terms of packaging. 4.5 movie, 5 on packaging. I love, even if I already know, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm a pretty well-read horror fan, but even, I just love documentaries, even if it's something, whether it's horror, wrestling, where I kind of know the history. I still love a good documentary, and I thought the extras were fantastic, and you get everything that you got before, and it's well worth it. So yeah, definitely check this one out. And Todd, I believe we are going to have our brief musical interlude, and we will be back.
And I guess we'll keep it international with tonight's selection, I guess. We got some Goblin up coming up for you. We'll be back in 4.5 minutes.
And we are back, correct, Todd?
We are back.
Okay, I heard the beep, but you never know. So
sometimes I hear a little early.
Absolutely. That was a good close to 5 minutes. You can microwave a hot pocket in 4.5 minutes if you have to. So that was very generous of you to pick a longer song so I could enjoy my jalapeno hot pocket.
Well, there you go.
And actually, I don't know, what did you do? Just standard bathroom break, or did you get to do anything interesting during the break?
I went and grabbed myself a diet soda, something to drink.
Well, there you go. I don't drink soda anymore, but I do have some green tea, so that's what we are enjoying while we entertain you guys. And I think the next review, whatever we end up saying about it, I think it is it'll be an entertaining review. And our next film is Muck, a new film from writer, director, producer Steve Walsh. And so Muck is a throwback horror film that just raised the hacked up bar. Horror legend Kane Hodder and Playboy Playmate of the Year Jacqueline Swedberg star in this scary, sexy indie shocker that joins a group of friends just as they emerge from the thick, murky darkness of the marshes, tattered, bloody, and lucky to be alive. But they will soon find out that the lucky ones are already dead. Muck is packed with old-school gore effects and brutal stunts without any CGI or apologies. Blah, blah, blah. So, Muck. Yeah, this one. Well, let's just say that there's a lot of jiggle in this one, Todd, isn't there?
I would say yes. I think we might have been the target audience for this.
Yeah, I think we were the target audience because literally every 10 seconds, I'd say, it's not always necessarily nudity, but every 10 seconds there's a close-up of an ass or cleavage or somebody in their underwear for no apparent reason. The entire movie, I mean, it's about 90% gratuitous ass close-ups. And there's nothing wrong with that, folks. So that's not a complaint. I'm just throwing it out there. So Muck, I mean, there's a drinking game with this movie. I mean, literally chug every time you see a gratuitous close-up of sometimes just a chick walking, and you'll be shit-hammered by the end of the movie, which the movie is very, very strange. I mean, it's kind of a non-linear style that jumps back and forth, which, I mean, that works for some movies, but for such a goofy, lighthearted tone, I'm not really sure that added anything. In fact, I really wasn't a big fan of that style for this particular movie. I mean, like I said, it's very goofy. The humor outweighs any kind of drama or character development that you might care about. It's just very lighthearted, goofy, and like I said, it still manages to be fun. But there is a pretty dramatic shift in tone. At the beginning, I really just expected it to kind of have just that silly style through the whole thing. But it does start to try and get a little more serious, and that doesn't quite work. It definitely comes from the Scream school of things where there's all sorts of references to other movies. The town is West Craven, which I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that because it's not very clever. I've seen so many movies, big and small, that think it's cool to have characters named Carpenter and Romero. It's not really that interesting to me. It's not a big complaint either, but
if you're gonna do it, you got to do it not so on the nose. I mean, look at Carpenter in Halloween, Sam Loomis. Sam Loomis and Psycho wasn't. They didn't call him, Dr. Perkins or anything on the nose.
Sure.
So you can do it. You just can't be like, I know my audience is stupid as shit, so we have to hit you over the head with Mr. Cronenberg or the most obvious thing possible.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, come up with. I mean, at least for me, there's a lot of people that Granted, not everybody's going to get, but I'm a big, like I said, I'm a big curious Dr. Hump fan. Maybe put somebody in there called Emilio Vieira or something. Most people aren't going to know who it is, but damn it, at least if I catch that reference, I'm going to appreciate it. Wes Craven, I mean, I don't know, are we supposed to really laugh at that at this point? I don't know. It's just it's like the parody movies. They depend on the laugh being that, haha, we're parodying this movie everybody's seen, and that's supposed to make you jump up and laugh. I don't know. It's just a minor gripe, I guess. But, I mean, this movie, like I said, it doesn't explain shit. I mean, essentially there's these random pissed-off albinos that are somewhat cult-like, looking to rape some girls, and that's about it. I don't know what they were supposed to be. I don't necessarily have a big issue with that. Apparently, I heard somewhere that this is only a part 1 and that there's going to be follow-ups, but I don't know. What did you think, Todd? I mean, I make it sound bad. It really isn't, but
I had fun with it. It was just mindless, tits and blood and ass shots. The one thing I could not, and I know it wasn't intentional, but it made me laugh a few times. When you see Kane in his big fight scene or whatever, all I could think of was Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker at the end of Return of the Jedi before George Lucas changed it for the 86th time. Without his mask on, that's what Kane looked like to me, with the pasty white and shit. I was like, why is Darth Vader so pissed? I don't know. Because all the other guys were like real slim and stuff, but he was definitely, Kane's Kane. So it was that had me laughing. It's weird though, because I don't know. I recommend this to you, but I don't know how well I'd be like, oh yes, this is, because it's not a great film. It's not horrible. It's but it is just what it is. It's fun, tits and ass, blood and boobs. So
yeah, but there've been some better examples of that recently. So I don't know, that didn't work. I don't know, maybe I'm becoming more sophisticated. I don't know.
I don't believe that for a second, Dan. But I do. We haven't mentioned the acting, the Playmate level acting is what you'd expect from Playmates. So there's that too. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing to write home about the acting in this, but then at the same time, it doesn't really matter. I don't know. The way they shot it. I mean, again, the ending is a bit sudden and abrupt, and people aren't gonna appreciate that either. But like I said, apparently this is the first in a series of films, so perhaps we might get a follow-up. I've always been, I don't know, I've never been a big fan of that with a movie where a sequel's a bit of a gamble. I don't know. I don't see a ton of people loving this. I don't see it being the next Hatchet, where it really catches on. There could be a sequel. I don't know.
We just reviewed one that was we got only half the movie. What was that? Was it Sledge or shoot? There was something that wasn't very good that we only got.
Sledge was horrible, but I thought it had an ending. I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. I know a recent one was All Cheerleaders Die, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. There was one we recently did. But yeah, I know that's not going to be.
It just, I don't know. It just felt to me like you were just going for more of a goofy, fun movie. You probably should have skipped the style of just jumping back and forth. This isn't Pulp Fiction. I mean, this is a TNA Playboy Playmate level acted slasher flick, and for the most part it works okay as that, but I don't know. I just didn't feel that this knew what it wanted to be. And yeah, I mean, will I see a sequel? Sure. Maybe we'll get to figure out why these albinos are so pissed. And I should actually point out, it is interesting that this takes place in Massachusetts. I made a comment on my page about not knowing that there were albino rape cults in Massachusetts, and sure enough, Chris actually replied, apparently they do exist down there. So hey, different location. This isn't just West Virginia or one of the typical backwoods locations. Yes, you can get raped and murdered and burned alive by albinos in Massachusetts as well. Their inbreds are just albino. What can we say? It's, I don't know, cold weather or something. But yeah, again, if you're picking this up just for Kane Hodder, I don't know if I would recommend it just for that or anything, but it's fun. $9.99. It's not too bad for a Blu-ray. You can get it at Best Buy. I don't know. I guess really, I just feel when you're making this type of movie, you really got to cram in the excess. That was sort of my attitude with some things that I wrote. It's like, okay, maybe we're going to fall short here, and here, but we can cram a lot of what people wanted to see in it. Because as sleazy as this is, there were several moments where this might as well have just been a TNA slasher flick where they just went all out, and forget about the Quentin Tarantino style that they tried to get in there. But again, for me it's a 2.5. I can't really go higher than that because there's just too many recent examples that work better. I really thought of Bad Meat when I watched this. Did you see that one, Todd?
Is that no, that's Fresh Meat.
The Rob Schmidt film that was never properly completed. It kind of made me think of that, particularly the ending that just kind of ends. Obviously, this one didn't have the same problems because Bad Meat, I mean, they literally just came up with some bullshit to finish that, and that one actually had a lot of promise. It was too bad, but yeah, it's 2.5 for me. It's a fun Redbox rental at the very least, and if it appeals to you enough, again, the price isn't high, so there you go. Todd?
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably be a little bit closer to it. Shoot, I don't know. It's a hard one. Yeah, it is just such in the middle. I guess because I'll go for 2.5 also, just because it is so in the middle. And okay, wait, hold on. I know the one everyone's been waiting for, since this is an Anchor Bay release. All the extras. Oh wait, we get none. Nothing.
Yeah.
but we have a menu.
At least it doesn't go right into the movie this time, though.
Exactly. We'll get that when we get.
We get a screensaver, damn it.
Yeah.
Menu.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to their Ford Fairlane release. Not really, but I have to have it. The best Rennie Harlan, Robert Englund film ever made?
Yeah.
Yes, that was a dig at part 4, even though I do enjoy 4. So, yeah. Check it out. I mean, for $10, I didn't regret it. If you can grab it on Redbox, check it out. If you like movies, check it out, I guess.
Yeah, like I said, 90% gratuitous ass close-ups, whether somebody's naked or not. I do want to throw out the actor that played Billy was kind of funny. I thought that was, and see, I almost wish it had just stuck with that tone, but he's practically bleeding to death and he's still hitting on the chick, and I loved it. Perfect example of Playboy Playmate acting when she responded to him, "Sorry, dude, you don't have enough blood left in you to fill that big dick of yours." I thought that was that was the line of the movie for me. But I don't know. Like I said, nothing wrong with just a sort of average fun movie. It's not going to blow your mind, but you'll probably enjoy it. So our next film, going retro again, and it's funny because I just thought of this and I wanted to throw it out there. I don't know why, because I did make a mistake in the description of this show, and I tried to edit it, so some of you may have seen the mistake, some of you may not have, but Eli Roth, the film we're going to review after this, star in Clown. I was actually under the impression that he played the clown in that because he's credited as a clown. So I just wanted to throw it out there. There's probably some places where I posted the show link because, we create it before we watch the movies usually. And in fact, he is not the star of Clown.
Yeah, it's funny. I noticed that elsewhere, though, too. You weren't the only one with that assumption. So I think, because I didn't even catch it when I read it over, and I was like, oh, okay. And I'd watched the trailer previously, and I didn't know what happened with that either. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it out there because some people at some point when they see Clown might be thinking, what the fuck, Eli Roth doesn't star in this. But hey, yeah, and I may have read it elsewhere. I really was thinking that he was headlining that movie. But that's not what we're reviewing next. Our next film is Slaughterhouse, the 1987 slasher comedy from director Rick Rossler. This is from 88 Films. And from the back cover, this corpse-ridden classic introduces one of the screen's most memorable madmen in Buddy, a cleaver-wielding backwoods baddie who, along with his father Lester, doesn't take kindly to trespassers. Buddy was brought up killing and packing meat, but now his rage turns to teens and market capitalists seeking to buy out his dad's property. The end result is a tongue-in-cheek terror totem that returns from the VHS vaults to Blu Ray in this great new HD master scanned from the original negative by the director. So, 88 Films put this out. Nice to throw away the beautiful cult collectibles DVD. It has appeared in many a discount bin over the years. This film holds up actually pretty good for me. This one's actually really fun. Really likable characters, fun 80s soundtrack, just a fun 80s movie in general. I think Buddy was, certainly not the most terrifying slasher out there, but he was a lot of fun. This is one that, again, recently revisiting a lot of these slashers, a lot of them haven't held up, but this one, much like Don't Go in the Woods Alone, works for me still. It's very entertaining. This one is particularly low budget. I know they didn't have a whole lot to work with, but it makes good use of it. Like I said, the film manages to be suspenseful at times while not being a particularly serious film. Really funny at the same time. Some of the chase scenes and Buddy's reaction to things, the deputy car chase and everything. I like this one. I'm a fan. Todd never talked about this one before, I know. Where do you stand with this one? It still works for me.
Yeah, and it's funny. It actually worked for me better this time because Well, the transfer isn't flawless on this release. It's so much better than the Power program or whatever that Slaughterhouse DVD, the bargain bin, just because you frequenter, as you mentioned. It's so much better than that, and I was always kind of a little, not the ideal presentation. So it was nice to see it in the right ratio and looking so much better than it had. I actually ended up liking it better than the last time I watched it, which would have been via that DVD. The humor's there, like you mentioned, the music. It's for the budget they had. I think they did well. I would have liked to have seen follow-ups to this one, actually.
I really would have. Unfortunately, kind of came at that time where the slasher was on its way out, but I could have seen all sorts of really fun follow-ups with Buddy. Taking him into the city, I think, would have been especially funny.
And it's funny you mention that because you on the extras, and it was on the old disc also, all the photos and the footage of him off interacting with the people all in his get-up and stuff. So I think that in the city stuff would have been really cool. And you kind of get an idea because you get to see all those stills of him out about the town back in the day.
I don't know, Buddy goes to the discotheque or something. There's a lot of really amusing things. I mean, we could have gotten Buddy in space if only it had come, a few years earlier where the movie could have made enough money to warrant such a thing.
It's funny because I remember seeing the charter tape back in the day, and I didn't realize it was so late in the slasher cycle because it did look so kind of cheap and low budget. I thought it was a lot earlier in the cycle than it actually was.
Mhm. Yeah. It's even, it's even funny revisiting it again, although it hasn't, again, this one, it really hasn't been forever since I've watched it, but I was like, oh, really, that was 87. I thought that was more like, 85 or, 84. I didn't realize it was quite that late, but yeah, no, it definitely came at a time where we were getting Slaughter High and some of the less respected slashers, but yet at the same time, a lot. There's quite a few from that time frame that still hold up pretty well. They're not particularly fantastic movies, but they're still very entertaining. So this is definitely one of those, and it is nice to see it on Blu-ray. Definitely a holy shit Blu-ray because I can't remember exactly where I was. It was either somewhere in Tennessee or Denver for some reason, but I remember going to an electronics store, and they had 5 copies of the Cult collectible DVD, and they were $1, literally $1, and they weren't previewed; they were just $1. So 88 Films Blu Ray. You won't be picking that up for $1 anytime soon.
No,
but it'll be worth paying for it, I think.
Yeah, and I guess we should mention, since this is an overseas release from the UK, it is region free. All the extras are in NTSC, so it's 100% playable, worldwide. It looks like everything got ported over from the old disc. I didn't go through and double check, but it looked like everything was there to me. I don't even. I have to find my disc. I have it's somewhere in the collection. Trying to hunt it down. I was like, nah. So yeah, there wasn't any new content, but I was fine with that. I mean, just the upgrade and transfer, I was really happy with. Again, it's not a perfect transfer.
No.
It is a little on the dark side. It is a little rough in a couple spots, but I mean, it's so much better than anything we've had thus far. The charter tape, the DVD. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way I felt about it. It's not perfect, but it's about as much as you could have ever hoped for. And like I said, there's been a lot of holy shit Blu-ray moments when I saw this pop up. I was just like, God damn, I wasn't expecting to ever get a Blu-ray of this. So yeah, it is very welcome. The movie for me, like I said, it holds up really well. I mean, it's in no way a classic or necessarily a must-see, but it's a 3.5 stars for me. I mean, it's very entertaining. It holds up really well, and I think Buddy in particular, for an actor that never spoke. I mean, he just makes pig noises and grunts. I mean, Joe Barton did a fantastic job. He's a very memorable slasher character, and there's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of slashers that are truly memorable, aside from the obvious ones. So that I should point out. And Don Barrett as Lester, the father, was also fantastic. I think his only other horror role was Hobgoblin. So, hey, bad movie, but fun bad movie. So
yes,
yeah.
I agree.
And as far as the package goes, not, like I said, not perfect, but it's about as much as you could really expect from something like this. So, I mean, I give a 3.5 to that too.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on par with that. I give the film itself a 3. Overall package, 3.5 sounds about fair to me. I mean, what else is there to say about this one? I'd say grab it if you import it. I know you can get it stateside from Diabolic DVD. For some reason, this one did not pop up on Amazon US. I was kind of bummed because a lot of the 88 films have. I mean, I grabbed both the later Toxic Avenger 3 and 4 from there from 88 Films, so it's out there. It's pretty easy to get. It's, I want to say, the third release in their slasher line that also includes, which also has stateside releases, Graduation Day and Don't Go in the Woods. So once we reviewed the American counterparts. So
yeah, I haven't been disappointed by them so far. And this is no exception. So before we get into our final film review of the evening, I should point out we will probably go into overtime on the TV Terror Talk. That's usually the case. So, but
I always figure that works out since we will be spoiler heavy in that segment.
Yeah, that does seem to work. So if you listen to us live, you don't have long to wait. Listen to the TV show. Yeah, you're used to it at this point. And if you're a fan of random rants that come up after hours, hey, you have that to look forward to. If not, you just want your movie reviews. There you go. So yeah, getting into our next film, Clown, which, as I said, I felt really, really bad because I noticed, I'm like, God, I fucked up the description, but I was under the impression that Eli Roth was, in fact, the family man that puts on a clown suit and becomes a killer, and that's not the case. He's just a clown on TV. But anyways, I mean, actually, he's credited as Frowny the Clown, I believe, or something. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, he's the star. He's not. So I do apologize. But this one's not actually out yet in the U.S. anyways, so I don't think we've disappointed anybody into buying it. But the film follows a father who finds a clown suit at a realtor gig that he has, and he puts it on for his son's birthday party when the professional clown overbooks and has to cancel. He soon comes to realize that this is not any ordinary clown suit, but this is a clown suit that he cannot take off and is possessed by a demon. So, Todd, I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about this one. I actually liked it a lot. What did you think?
I'm not surprised that we're both going to end up liking it. Yeah, I really like this one, and it's funny. Before I get into the actual film, I posted I was watching, And, I get comments once in a while, but I noticed this was one of a lot of people were like, yeah, I want to see that. I got to see that. So I guess there is a demand for it. Someone in the U.S. better put this damn thing out sooner than later.
Just make it look like Eli Roth is the star.
Well, they already do the presents thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So most people are going to think he directed it at this point, which he did not. But yeah, I really liked it. I see why he threw his name on this one and got behind it. It is, it's easily described as, the Santa Claus for horror or clown movies. I mean, because, put on the suit, you become it. I mean, which basically is, in theory, the same, storyline, except one's a little bit
heavier. I don't remember
than the
Dudley
other.
Moore eating anyone, though, but it's been a while.
Not Santa Claus, the movie.
Oh,
The Santa Claus, the one with the Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dudley Moore may ate someone off, said that's a different thing. Yeah, it was just that, kind of nasty, fun stuff. I mean, when he keeps trying to off himself because he doesn't want to be the clown, there's some pretty funny stuff. I mean, I don't know about the kids stuff, but yeah, I really like this one. I mean, I want to recommend it to everyone, but unless you want to come out of pocket for the import Blu Ray that was, I didn't know at the time, was a store exclusive and is long sold out. I want to say it was Zazie or something. And the DVD is PAL, so it's not going to be as easy for our stateside listeners to get a hold of it unless they're region free. But yeah, I loved it. There's not even really spoilers we can give away. I mean, we do have the whole, situation of someone trying to help assist getting the suit off that's gone through it before. So there's that aspect. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Going into this, I kind of expected a little more camp. I didn't know a lot about it, but it's actually a pretty creepy horror movie. I've never quite gotten the whole clown fear that people have. I don't know, out of all the things that I'm afraid of in real life, I don't know, clowns just don't do it for me. I mean, if I see a clown in an alleyway somewhere, I don't know, that doesn't scare me as much as seeing Buddy, for example. And I never got the fear. But I will say, if you are creeped out by clowns, this one might fuck with you a little bit. It's a great horror movie. Like I said, not as much goofiness as I was necessarily expecting. If you have issues with children being killed, there is a lot of that. Yes, that is true. There is a decapitation of Shadow the dog that's pretty creepy. But obviously no cannibal Holocaust cruelty.
Yes, and I guess there's no killer clown shenanigans in this. It's not that type of clown movie.
No. See, I've already killed people through clown means. So I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, okay, he's going to like hit somebody with an exploding pie. It's not that type of movie. It's a legit freaky horror flick.
And I mean, other than, I'm trying to think clown-wise, I mean, it's got to be one of the ones, if you do have a fear of clowns, it's going to get under your skin. I mean, other than this, I mean, there's the Clown at Midnight and something like, say, Clown House. I mean, that's to a lesser extent.
Yeah.
I was going to say it is like the go-to for the, but, Pennywise, there's a lot more to that movie than just Pennywise.
I'll throw it out there. You may consider this a classic if you want something to just really creep you out, clown related, because everything that makes it, because it's a very, and Andy Powers, who plays Kent, the dad, very sympathetic performance. I mean, there's a lot that happens here where you're just seeing this guy being overtaken by a demon, and you even get it's not literally Chuck E. Cheese, but you get that sort of Chuck E. Cheese chase through the slide and everything with the kids and everything. It's not a gore fest, but in fact I actually thought it was going to be a lot gorier than it really was. But the gore that hits is very clever, very well done, very creepy, and again, it involves children, so some people will perhaps have an issue with that.
I will say, too bad Carol wasn't there. She could just feed, send him the kids.
I think Carol would have a particular, Carol from The Walking Dead would have a particular child that she would send his way. That would probably be really ideal for her at that time.
And he's filled with chocolate.
Goes down great. I mean, just every day. And Peter Stormare, who, I mean, even if he's in a shitty movie, he's memorable. He was really great in this as well. And I mean, like I said, it's really, really creepy, even for a guy that doesn't get the clown thing. And this is one, like I said, I really see this. I mean, it should come out ASAP. I think whatever company picks it up definitely has a winner. And it's a scary clown flick with a great lead that you truly sympathize with. And I don't know, and it's another one. I mean, I could very easily see us getting a clown too. I have a minor complaint that would get more into spoilers, but overall, I thought it was a great film.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know what you're talking about. The only reason I'm giving it a 4.5 because I really like this one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, just towards the end, I haven't really looked at reviews or anything for this, but I can imagine if there are any complaints, it'll be because of that. But overall, I mean, it's a near classic, and I'm at 4.5 too for this. It's definitely one you want to pick up when it comes out, and it will. Like I said, Eli Roth, and maybe we'll get Green Inferno at some point too. We have two great Eli Roth productions, although again he does not direct this one. That hopefully we'll get to see sometime soon. Although Green Inferno sounds like it's not going to happen this year.
I did see, and I want to say it is December 31st, 2015. Green Inferno is coming out on Blu Ray in Germany, so we may have to do that one early because I don't think we'll see it in the States by then.
No, I do not. The way it sounds, no. I hope that's hopefully that'll be a region free title, but yeah,
I'm hoping for the sake of our Blu-ray loving friends. As much as I know Lionsgate would love to they could put this out in net right now, they wouldn't put out a Blu-ray. I just know that. I want somebody to put out a Blu-ray of this damn thing. So.
Oh, I will be seriously pissed if this doesn't get a Blu-ray release in the U.S. I will say that this is definitely one that belongs on Blu-ray, and hopefully we'll get it.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, one overseas was limited to one store exclusive. This was like a super low run. I want to say there was like 1,000. They're all long sold out. So even overseas, it wasn't, I'm sure someone else put it out. It'll come out in Germany or somewhere, Australia.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Well,
I just want to see the damn thing. So we'll we will bring that to you as soon as humanly possible. Well, hell, at least we know it's coming out in Germany. So yes. Moving on to our TV Terror Talk segment, and again, before we get into it, obviously we're going to get cut off. Next week we have, well, we're still finalizing everything, but next week there is a fuck ton of stuff coming out. In fact, I've been talking to Todd because I've got this damn David Tennant, Billy Piper Comic-Con thing that's going to cost me like $500. That again, I am eBaying some shit to pay for that. So I was like, Todd, man, we got to lock down March 24th. There's like 20 fucking movies coming out. And then even Beyond got bumped to the 24th, which the Beyond Blu Ray is obviously an essential. So I'm like, God damn, I've got like $260 worth of stuff pre-ordered.
We should have had that thing a month ago.
Yeah, we should have. It's funny, looking at that date again, I was like, I hope it gets bumped again. Just so I'm like, after May, I'm good. But yeah, so we'll have a ton of stuff. I know we've got Digging Up the Marrow, and I don't know. We'll have Gone with the Pope. We'll have, which. God, that took forever, didn't it? It seems like, well, over 3 years, or something like that since I remember kind of first hearing about that coming out. So yeah, we'll definitely have those for you, and so Walking Dead, or actually, Todd, I have to say before Walking Dead, because I had a DVR screw up and I did not tape Izombie. But I know it's airing again Friday, so I'm going to DVR it tomorrow. What did you think? It's the premiere, so I figured we'll at least talk about the premiere.
Yeah, well, okay, here's the thing. I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever watched, I think, a CW show since SmackDown left the network. I actually ended up enjoying it. I mean, for those who don't know, the plot of the show is, pretty similar. Our lead is, about to be a doctor. Tragic accident of the zombie outbreak happens, and she somehow becomes a zombie, but not. I don't know if it's necessarily full zombie because she gets scratched, and so she's dead. So we flash forward about 6 months later, and now instead of a doctor, she's working in a morgue, so she can get a little bit of her brain nibbling on, and yeah, basically that's it. But the one thing about this is whenever she eats the brain, she gets visions of the victims. And while I couldn't help but thinking, Stephen King gonna sue these fuckers? I mean, for real, it is the dead zone, except she's a zombie. I mean, if you break it down, tragic accident, psychic abilities, solving crimes. That. I was like, wow, it's so blatantly obvious. I mean, but okay, I can just say dead zone.
Dad.
We could do Anthony Michael Hall too if you want to go the TV version too.
True.
You can go either way.
He needs to work.
Or Christopher Walken could be Grandpa at that point. But it was my first foray into CW, stuff, and I actually really ended up liking it. I'm going to give this a shot. I mean, probably because I was such a huge Dead Zone fan. I love that show. I mean, it was basic serialized. Every week I'm sure she's going to solve a crime, and that's going to be what it is. And I'm cool with that. I don't really watch any of the SVUs or any of the CSIs or stuff, and this is more of a lighthearted show. I know it's from the creators of Veronica Mars. Never watched it, but I've always heard good things. So I'm guessing it's kind of similar. And it is a cool angle with the zombie and, as lead. And the one thing I do want to mention is she was doing research for her the fact she's a zombie, and she was watching Night of the Living Dead was part of her research. There's a quick cameo of the Elite DVD if you look in the beginning. Oh, and I should mention she's discovered by her co-worker at the morgue that she is zombie. She gets caught eating a little bit of brains. And I should kind of point out, she doesn't just take a bite. She throws it in with her pasta, so it's not she's not just munching on brains. And then they're aided with a cop that comes into the morgue. So it's kind of, you can see the dynamic shaping up just from the pilot. I'll be interested to hear what Dan thinks next week. I don't think we'll be covering this regularly like The Walking Dead, but
no.
If you were like me and hesitant about it, because I'm definitely not a CW guy.
You don't watch
a lot
Supernatural?
I do not, and I'll be honest. I was going to try to get into it, and I think I have the first season on DVD. I just haven't started it. I remember I was going to.
Enjoy it. I mean, you got like 11 seasons to get through, but
yeah. I still have Buffy and Angel to get through too. I've seen like 2 episodes of each.
Never really. Well,
yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say I used to be really prejudiced about. Of course, then it was WB and some of those shows, and there's definitely been some crap on that network, but there've been some pretty quality shows too. Supernatural's one. One that seemingly will never die. I think Buffy, again, I loved Buffy, actually. I think
Buffy
Angel
bounced around.
Yeah,
that was
true. And Angel, I think, was more adult. Some people like that a little bit more. But, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a sign of quality. So I'll at least give my thoughts briefly next week, whether it's a keeper. We won't do it every week, obviously, but new show.
So Debbie, you got to watch both episodes, because by next week, hopefully your DVR catches at this one. Because I mean, I think for the first 2 episodes, I think we'll kind of know where the show's going. And a lot of times with the pilot, I kind of don't feel like we know where we're going yet. This one definitely felt like it already had its direction. It wasn't like. It wasn't like some pilots. I definitely felt like this is the tone of the show.
Yeah, nowadays you really do have to hit in those first couple episodes. You really have to establish something. Yeah, definitely on network.
Because on a lot of the HBO shows, it takes me a couple episodes to get into.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And Breaking Bad, perfect example. I mean, a show that I can't say I was immediately hooked, and that is made many lists of one of the greatest shows of all time. So, yeah, I mean, it's good to have patience sometimes with a lot of these shows, because.
And I do want to mention, I mean, we haven't talked about it. I'm a fan of the show, but Bates Motel is back also.
Yeah. So, being that this is TV Terror Talk, I should throw out there Sleepy Hollow, which was kind of a bubble show. Some people weren't sure if we would get a season 3. That has been renewed as well.
I did see that.
Season behind. Yeah, I loved season 1. Apparently, there's some mixed thoughts on season 2, which I haven't seen yet, but I am kind of glad that that's coming back. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you what. Since we're confessing, I've never seen the X-Files either.
Wow, Todd, that's a cool thing, though. I envy some people that are telling me, like, all these great shows they've never watched. And it's like, well, you can sit and binge watch the entire thing now. Imagine Lost without having to wait. It's like, I'm going to fucking see what's up with this island, and I'm going to see it by the end of the weekend.
I know what you mean.
Do that. Yeah, I mean, I remember from 2004 to, I don't know what, 2010, 2011, whatever it was, waiting every week and like, are we going to see what the fuck this island is?
You know what's funny? I jumped in season 2. I didn't watch it during the first season, and I just got it because Terry O'Quinn was in it. I just got the first season. I was like, it's the fucking Stepfather. I gotta watch this.
Yeah. It was kind of cool to see him finally get like mainstream acclaim because, like you said, Stepfather, Pin, Millennium, all these great and some not so great roles that he's had over the years, and then it's like now everybody knows him as John Locke.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's
Stepfather to be.
Yeah, it's cool to see the horror guys like finally make it, and sometimes it kind of goes away. Terry Quinn did that. What was it? 666 Park Avenue. That I don't even know if it lasted a full season. I wasn't super impressed, but I kind of kept watching to see where it was going to go. I don't know. He and I think it was Vanessa Williams, I think, made for a kind of unusual couple. I didn't quite buy them, but yeah, no, he's a great actor. I hope he gets something else. Last thing, I know my dad watches Hawaii Five-0, and I guess he's one of the main roles on that. But
with the other dude from Lost.
Yeah,
I can't think of his name. Yeah.
Jin. I can't think of the actor's name, but yeah, he's on there.
Get it.
And you really do have to hit, though, at the same time. It's like, I didn't even know. My mom was like, asked me the other day, like, do you know if Odd Couple's coming back? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's like the new Odd Couple, and it's like, I didn't even know there was, and apparently it's already canceled.
Is it really? I asked my wife that.
That's what I thought I heard. Apparently the ratings were abysmal.
I know this. They were boasting it was the hot new show. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I need to double check that. Somebody.
You could be right.
I read an article.
Mm-hmm. One week it's a hot new show. Yeah. I like Tom Lennon, so
kind of the death kiss, so
it is, and I don't know with I can't think of her name, Shirley from Community. She's another one on there. I don't know if you're a fan of Community, but that just came back on. You have to watch it on Yahoo Screen. But I think
I've never watched it. I've heard it's good.
There's one thing this week that I have to tell you, and so if anyone wants to even just go check out the second episode of the new season, just go fast forward to the last segment. They do a little thing where, because they talk about this, I want to say, it's not Indian, but it's basically, it might be an Indian ripoff of Gremlins that they talk about, during it. So at the very end of the show, they have a little 5-minute scene where it's like this bootleg version of Gremlins. So it's all acted out in Hindu and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish this was real. It's it's so hilarious.
Oh, okay. Well, I will. I don't know if I have time right now to get into a new series, but I will probably
just
watch.
That clip. I'll see if I can find just that clip on YouTube and send it because I was dying on that.
Yeah, if we find it, we'll post it on the Flesh Wound Radio. Yeah. So yes. Well, getting into Walking Dead. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold, but yeah, Walking Dead. What can I say? Another fantastic episode. It's been a love fest for me with Walking Dead. But my God, were you expecting Noah to get killed? And did you get as many "this show is racist as shit" emails as I did when they killed Noah?
No, which is funny. What have they killed? 2 black people? 3.
They've killed quite a few.
Well, I think one's about to get lynched come next episode because Preacher's been running his mouth. That's all I'm saying.
Gabriel is a piece of shit. I think people hate him more than the governor now. I'm like, you're a pussy that let your entire flock get massacred. Why are you talking shit on the group now?
Yeah, I know, and I was like, wow, I can't believe he did that.
I didn't get it. I mean, honest to God, I didn't get it. I mean, he should swallow a bullet for what he did rather than criticizing the group. There's so much to talk about. I mean,
I know, but I do want to say I did kind of have that worried feeling as soon as he wanted to be productive, when he wanted to learn how to do something.
Yeah, you will write the journal of this place. Today I woke up, then I died. The end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that we got to know his character too much, but he was a pretty likable character. It was just the way he died. I mean, the look in Glenn's face, and he did not get off easy. It was a brutal death. I was half expecting one of those fucking zombies to, like, bend him over and pull down his pants at one point when Glenn had that look of horror. I was like, they're gonna start gangbanging him next. They might literally skull fuck him to death. That was like the look of terror in poor Glenn's face.
And then we have the domestic abuse over on the other side too. So we got that little issue with Kale's. You gotta kill this motherfucker.
Yeah, there's no other way. You're just gonna have to put a bullet in his head, Rick. The group's in so much trouble though now. I mean, they're gonna come home. They're gonna have to tell Deanna your kid's dead. That other, I forget his name already, but the other guy that Glenn is totally off him. He's gonna get home and say that they got him killed. He's gonna lie like a bitch. You've got Gabriel, who is the biggest asshole on the planet. I mean, one scene and he's the most hated character on the show.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I was half expecting him as like, did you know Rick touches little kids or something? I mean, he literally, it's like these people that saved his ass. It's like, you really need to just kill them. I don't know. I was like actually mad.
Yeah.
I watched that episode. I was like, what the hell kind of motivation is it there? It's not even like just being shell shocked. I mean, it's like just being a dick for no reason.
Yeah. I have to ask you something now. It's just because we only have 2 episodes left.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? You got 2 conflicting events on the season finale nights. There's that, and then there's that other little wrestling show,
Oh, holy shit, you're right.
Yes, it's wrestling. That's
going to be a long day because I'm going to be coming home from Regeneration Who, a Doctor Who convention I'm going to up in Baltimore. And, I mean, I'll literally be getting home and sitting my ass down and watch WrestleMania. Wow.
And then Walking Dead. Well,
yeah, then Walking Dead.
And then Talking Dead. Well, at least you can watch some pre-show stuff on the network on the car ride.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I don't know. I suppose if worse came to worse, I could miss the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but if I didn't get to watch that one live. But no, I don't want to complain about that just yet. But yeah, no. I mean, it's another great character episode. Eugene finally gets brave, which I thought was pretty cool. He's a likable character. He's one. I'm like, it's so obvious that he would die that I see him being like a Herschel, where he might be in it a long time, where it's like the one-legged old man, surely enough he's going to be dead now any episode. Hello? Well, obviously we got music playing. We're trying to figure this out. Well, if we are Well, I don't know if we are still on or not. Todd, can you hear me? So, oh, well, apparently we did. So, if anybody hears me, let's see if we're going to get back on or not. Well, I don't know. We're trying to figure this out here, but just in case you're still listening to me, yeah, I thought Walking Dead was fantastic. I don't get the complaints this year. Like I said, there's so much going on, and yeah, and I do apologize because Todd is trying to reconnect, so it would be weird for us to get booted right now, but this does happen with Blog Talk every once in a while. We did look into it, and apparently we're not supposed to get booted here, but Todd, are you back? Do you hear me? Todd is typing to me, so we're trying to figure this out if we're gone or not. If not, we'll pick up our Walking Dead discussion later. But let's see here. Todd, doesn't sound like he's gonna be able to get back on. So if you're still hearing me, we'll pick this up later. Not a whole lot else to get into really, except we're going to talk a little bit about Pete and whether or not we felt Rick would actually go through with it or not. So yeah, we will see you guys next week. Stacked show. Be sure to tune into the calling hours on Tuesday. And, yeah, bye, guys.
O'Reilly. A dead battery can leave you stranded, so get yours tested for free during Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Need a replacement? Purchase a Superstart Extreme or Superstart Platinum battery and get up to $25 in O'Reilly gift cards after a mail-in rebate. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.